Hi, my name is Jim Cruz, and welcome to this edition of World 5.0 Weekly Update. Our top story: the comets are coming. That's right, the comets Pan-STARRS and Ison are on their way toward a rendezvous with our Sun this year. Pan-STARR coming first and becoming visible in March or April, depending on which hemisphere you're in. Comet Ison will be closest to the Sun near the end of November 2013, and it will be closest to the Earth a month later. Potentially, it could be bright enough to be visible in broad daylight around the time it is nearest to the Sun. Since it is very well placed for viewing in the Northern Hemisphere during the weeks afterward, it could become one of the best and brightest comets of the past several centuries. Astronomers maintain that the effect of these two comets will be minimal to nil. Others, however, who see the universe as fundamentally electric in nature, suspect that there could be electromagnetic effects from these flybys. We will see. More on this electric universe later in the broadcast. A report this week stated that being overweight does not necessarily mean a premature death. The report doesn't touch on quality of life issues or health risks. And guess who's behind the report? The industries that sell junk food. Many corporations like Coca-Cola, Wendy's, Applebee's, and Outback Steakhouse fund the so-called Center for Consumer Freedom, which runs the website obesitymyths.com. There is a mystery along the South Carolina coast. Thousands of dead fish washed up on the beach at the south end of Pawleys Island Tuesday afternoon. The fisherman Hayden in the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources has been notified of the incident. Speaking of fish, producing genetically modified salmon is near approval, pending public comment. They grow twice as fast, and their effect on normal salmon populations are unknown. What could go wrong? Future generations of Americans can expect to spend 25 days a year sweltering in temperatures above 100 degrees, with climate change on course to turn this country into a hotter, drier, and more disaster-prone place. Climate change is already affecting the American people, the draft report says. Duh. Certain types of weather events have become more frequent and or intense, including heat waves, heavy downpours, and in some regions, floods and drought. Sea level is rising, oceans are becoming more acidic, and glaciers and Arctic sea ice are melting. And our government's proactive approach begins when? Lance Armstrong, only mentioned here because he has no integrity, and of course the media continues to prove it has no integrity as well by focusing on Lance Armstrong ad nauseum this week. And finally, Palestinian activists began constructing a new village in the West Bank on Friday in protest of the illegal Israeli occupation in Palestine and ongoing land grab by the Israeli settlers in the area. The protesters say they are reestablishing Palestinian land in opposition to Israel, saying they have so far set up a mosque and several tents, and have begun to work on more permanent structures. This is in response to an Israeli plan to take over 124 acres of Palestinian land already riddled with Jewish settlements. Saad Yukrina said, "The camp was a message to Israel and all democratic societies that we are human and we want peace. We are looking for a life without walls, settlements, and checkpoints." What? So demanding, Palestine? This electric universe. So, our current scientifically driven ideas about the nature of the universe sprang from that plop on the head Newton received from a falling apple about 4 centuries ago. Gravity was deemed the prime force in all the universe, and science proceeded to create formulas that justified that model, the most famous being Einstein's E = mc squared. Then, as electricity and quantum physics were discovered, the whole gravity model needed to be reconsidered or perhaps discarded. To keep the math of the gravitational model working, these theoretical physicists claimed black holes, dark matter, the Big Bang, and other theories that justify the gravitational model, and leaves many other phenomena unexplained. So what happens if we choose electricity as the fundamental force? The universe begins to make more sense, as it is over 99% plasma or charged particles. This we already know. The 3 states of matter we learned in school are actually an anomaly. Planets make up a very small percentage of the mass of the universe. We already know biological life is electrochemical. Without synapses, nerves, and a heartbeat, we don't exist. If gravity were the primary force in the universe, we wouldn't have these amazing patterns, these spiral arms, which are easily replicated in a laboratory using Birkeland currents. And when scientists speak of the origins of biological life on this planet, no one speaks of gravity as a big influence. Indeed, the notion that life could have been initiated without electricity seems far-fetched indeed. And what about in our culture? Yes, gravity plays its role in keeping us grounded, but where's the action? Cell phones, machines, the interwebs, all electromagnetic and electrochemical reactions, or just raw electricity. Gravity? Not so much. So the next time you turn on the light and see E equals mc squared on the blackboard, what will you see as truth? Cincinnati Local. The American Planning Association is awarding the Cincinnati Central Riverfront Project the 2013 National Planning Excellence Award for implementation. And Begley, one of the members of the APA Selection Committee, commented, "The fact that this development happened during an economic downturn demonstrates the strength of the plan and the importance of the public commitment that brought it into being." In a controversial move last week, the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio ruled against AEP Ohio's proposed Turning Point Solar Project, stating that the utility and project developers did not demonstrate a need for the project. This ruling is a slap in the face to clean energy, new jobs, and Southeast Ohio, said Brian Kaiser, Director of Green Jobs and Innovation at the Ohio Environmental Council. The Turning Point Solar Project aims to be the largest solar array east of the Rocky Mountains. The transformative 50-megawatt project would be built on reclaimed strip mine land in Noble County. And finally, the Gabriel's Place Market is reopening on January 24th and will be open every Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m. The community of Avondale is considered a food desert, so Gabriel's Place sprung up in the need for access and education around whole foods and healthy eating styles. The vision for Gabriel's Place is to continue to grow the market, providing access to healthy food and a space for conviviality for Avondale citizens. You hearing this, Avondale? That's our show for this week. Please tune in again next week for the World 5.0 Weekly Update and our in-depth topic, this 5D universe. Peace out.